Look around, folks. It's a mess out there. We're more divided than ever, politically speaking. It's like we're living in a constant state of outrage, fueled by a toxic cocktail of social media, biased news, and politicians who seem to have missed the memo on public service. This isn't just some abstract political science lecture, people. This stuff has real-world consequences. We're talking about violence, threats, and the erosion of basic democratic norms. Remember when we could disagree without wanting to throw our phones, or worse, at each other? Good times. So, what's driving this descent into political chaos? Well, buckle up, Buttercup, because we're about to break down the major culprits: social media, media polarization, political rhetoric, and economic inequality. And trust me, it ain't pretty. But hey, at least we're in this together, right? Let's talk about social media, shall we? That wonderful world of endless scrolling where everyone's an expert and facts are optional. Look, social media can be great for connecting with friends, sharing cat videos, and, organizing the occasional revolution. But it's also become a breeding ground for misinformation, polarization, and good old-fashioned hate. Here's the thing, those sneaky algorithms, they're designed to keep you hooked. And how do they do that? By feeding you more of what you already agree with. It's like being trapped in an echo chamber of your own biases, where dissenting opinions are about as welcome as a vegan at a BBQ festival. This creates a dangerous situation where people are constantly bombarded with information that confirms their existing worldview, no matter how extreme or factually dubious. It's like trying to have a rational conversation with someone who's been mainlining conspiracy theories and energy drinks. Spoiler alert, it doesn't end well. Now, let's move on to the wonderful world of media. Remember when news was just news? Yeah, me neither. Today, we're drowning in a sea of partisan outlets all vying for our attention and our outrage. It's like a 24/7 cable news cycle fueled by hot takes and hyperbole. Here's the problem. When news becomes entertainment, facts take a back seat to ratings. And when that happens, objectivity goes out the window faster than a politician's promise during an election year. We're left with a public that's increasingly distrustful of traditional media, turning instead to sources that confirm their existing biases. This creates a dangerous feedback loop. As media outlets become more partisan, their audiences become more divided. And as audiences become more divided, there's less incentive for media outlets to even try to be objective. It's a vicious cycle, and it's tearing us apart. Fanning the flames, the impact of political rhetoric. Hold on to your hats, folks, because we're about to talk about politicians. Look, I know, it's a tough subject, but someone's got to do it. And let's be honest, there's plenty of blame to go around. In today's political climate, it seems like some elected officials have forgotten that their job is to represent all of their constituents, not just the ones who agree with them. Instead of trying to find common ground and work together, they resort to divisive rhetoric, fear-mongering, and outright lies. They demonize their opponents, stoke the flames of division, and then act surprised when things start to get out of hand. This kind of toxic rhetoric has real-world consequences. It creates an environment of fear, distrust, and hostility. It makes it harder to have civil conversations, let alone find common ground. And it makes it more likely that people will resort to violence to express their political beliefs. The have and have-nots economic inequalities contribution. Now, for the elephant in the room, economic inequality. Let's be real, folks. When a small segment of the population controls the vast majority of the wealth, while millions struggle to make ends meet, it creates tension. It breeds resentment, fuels anger, and makes people more susceptible to extremist ideologies. When people are struggling to put food on the table or keep a roof over their heads, they're more likely to feel like the system is rigged against them. They're more likely to be angry, frustrated, and desperate for change. And that desperation can make them vulnerable to those who peddle simplistic solutions and scapegoat entire groups of people. Bridging the divide, a call to action. Okay, so we've covered a lot of depressing ground. But before you reach for the nearest bottle of antacids, let's talk about solutions. Because believe it or not, there is hope. We can bridge this divide, but it's going to take all of us working together. First, we need to become more media literate. We need to be critical thinkers, questioning what we read and see online. Second, we need to rediscover the lost art of respectful discourse. We need to be willing to listen to each other, even when we disagree. And finally, we need to address the root causes of inequality. We need to create a more just and equitable society. This stuff is hard, but necessary. Because the alternative, a society consumed by division, distrust, and violence, is simply unacceptable. So let's get to work, shall we? If you enjoy this video, please share with your friends and family, and see you on the next video.